What in the world is going on today? What are we going to be making in Kathy's kitchen today? Oh, we got eggs and peanut butter and brown sugar and white sugar and 2 sticks of butter and flour and baking powder and oats. What are we making today, guys? And bourbon vanilla. What are we going to be making today, guys? I gave everybody an opportunity to guess. Be back in just a second. Well, guys, I'm in the kitchen. And yesterday I had planned on doing some things, but I didn't get to it. But this morning I got up. Robert came in last night. He said, "What are you going to make sweet to take to these boys tomorrow?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I'm going to see Randy and all of them tomorrow, and I need to take something sweet, something that's travelable, you know." And it's ironic because I had this recipe laying out on my chair arm in there beside my seat where I sit, and I had it laying out there, and I thought, I'm going to make some of these. I haven't made any of these. As a lady in Louisiana, she said, every time I see you, I think about those delicious cookies you sent me. Well, guess what, guys? We're going to make some cookies today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take 2 sticks of butter, unsalted butter, and we're going to put it in the stand mixer. And I'm going to turn you around this way just a little bit. And we're going to put this in the stand mixer. And I'm going to throw that away. And we're going to cream this butter for about a minute or so when I get this thing on here. And I know you don't want to hear me creaming butter, so I'll be right back when I get the butter creamed. And when you cream butter, you just want it until it kind of looks kind of fluffy. About a minute and a half, something like that. But we'll be right back. Okay, now the butter is creamed. You can see it right here, how it's creamed up on the paddle. And when you're doing this, you always want to use room temperature butter. Want it to be a little softer. And I'm going to try to get my thing and scoot some of this down because I'm going to be putting the sugar in next. Now let me get me a saucer. I'm sorry, guys. I get in here and I think I've got everything out, but I still don't have everything out that I need. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put in a cup of white sugar and a half a cup of brown sugar. You can use dark or light. Now we're going to cream this for about 2 minutes. So I'll be right back. Okay, now we've got the sugar and the butter creamed together. And I'm going to get some of this stuff off here to try to get back down in the... whoever thinks baking is not a job or not hard work, they're, you know, especially, but the thing about it is, I can take my time and bake. I have the hardest time getting that thing loose from there. And I got to go in here and push all this down again. But baking takes time. It takes a lot of effort. But thank goodness I can kind of do it as I am able. Now, put this back on there and get as much of this off as I can. Now we're going to put in 2 eggs. And we're going to blend it up good. Be careful and don't get any shell in there. I was watching this guy the other day and he was breaking his inside the bowl. Breaking it inside the bowl, he was going to mix it. I won't do that. I've had pieces of shell get in there and have to fish it out just doing the best you can. I sure won't do that. Okay, now we're going to mix this up pretty good. Okay, now we're going to put the peanut butter in. And I get to use my new measuring cup. Some people asked the other day, what is that? This is a measuring cup. And you put it down to where you want to fill it. Then you fill that up. Then you do this. You put it out like this. You push it in there. It has a kind of like a rubber gasket in it. And then you just take your case knife and scrape it off. Like that. It's not near as hard to work with as trying to get it in a measuring cup and all that stuff. I had wanted one for a long time and I finally got me one. So now we're going to mix up the peanut butter and we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. If I can get it open. Now this I don't use hardly as much as 2 teaspoons because this is a little more potent. Okay, now we're going to try to get it started again. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our flour, and this is a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to mix that in the flour, and I'm going to stir it up a little bit. Okay, now we're going to put about probably all of this in there. If I can get my now I'm going to do this slow so we don't have a white cloud going everywhere. Woo! Still got a white cloud. Well, I made a mess. It is awful trying to keep this thing from not throwing flour everywhere when you do it. A lot of times that's why I do stuff by hand. It's a lot harder, but sometimes I think, oh my gosh. Now we're going to put in 2 cups of oats. Now you can use, I'm using quick oats. Most recipes call for old-fashioned oats, but I'm using quick oats. If your quick oats is all you have, it will be fine. So we're going to put these quick oats in there. We're going to do it slow, kind of get them started. Now I'm going to have to clean this off. I'll be right back. Now we're going to put 2.5 cups of chocolate chips. And usually use semi-sweet chocolate chips, but I had a bag of half chocolate and half peanut butter. They're milk chocolate. I think they'll be all right though. And then I had some dark chocolate chips. So I'm put all of it together to make 2.5 cups. And I'm going to put this in the dough, and we're going to try to get it kind of worked in there slowly. See if I can. Okay. Ugh. That thing weighs a ton like that. It's got all that batter on it. Whoop. I'm going to get this batter scraped off and push it back down in here. Now, what we're going to do now, this is everything that needs to be mixed together. But we're going to have to put this in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. If you leave it longer, it's going to get too hard, and then you'll have to let it set out and warm up a little bit in order to make the balls. But I've got a big pan over here. I got out one of my honker pans, as Robert calls them, to put these cookies on. And I'm going to see if I can get this off and kind of get most of this dough off. Let me finish doing this and I'll be right back. Okay, here's what the batter looks like. It's a big bunch of batter. And this makes the big cookies, not the little thin flat cookies. This is to make the big cookies with. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes, and then we'll be back and we'll roll up the balls and put them on the pan and put them in the oven. Okay guys, it's been about 25 minutes. I checked it about 5-10 minutes ago and it still was pretty soft, so I figured I'd wait a few more minutes. But I think it's kind of firm enough now. And what you want to do is you want to roll about a 2-inch ball like this. About the size of a golf ball, not hardly as big. And you want to set it right there, and we're going to put them 3 inches apart. And I'm going to try to keep these kind of about the same. I don't know if I can or not. Try to make sure all of them's got some chocolate chips in them, because sometimes it doesn't have. And yes, my hands are clean. They've been washed a gazillion times this morning. That one's a little too big. I can tell that one's a little bigger than it needs to be. That one right there. And it says to bake this, my recipe says to bake it for 12 to 14 minutes, just till the edges are getting brown. He said the inside will look raw, but they said to pull it out. It's like any other cookie. You pull it out of the oven and set it down there and let it set for 5 minutes before you put it on the cooling rack, because it will finish cooking. So that's what I'm going to do. This first batch is going to make about 12, the first round. And I'll put the dough back in the refrigerator. I'm going to make just a little bit more room between them, so they got room to spread out. Make it. Now I'll probably check. I probably have made mine too big. So I'll probably have to cook mine just a little bit longer. If I'm guessing right, I always do this. But there's one thing about it. If you make them bigger than you think you are, then you can always cook them just a little bit longer. It might take 15 minutes to cook them. Now, okay, let me wash my hands. Now, dry my hands off. And I've had my oven preheating at 350 degrees. And so we're going to go ahead and put these in. I'll take my clips off. Somebody said the other day they like my clips. So we're going to go ahead and put these in the oven. And we'll see how they turn out. But I'll let you all know in a few minutes how long it took me to bake them. I'm going to put 13 minutes on here to start with, and then I'll check them. And that's what you should always do. Always start on the lower end and check. But we'll be back. Okay, guys, I got the first batch out of the oven. And here's what they look like. I put some extra chips on top of them when I brought them out of the oven. Big fat cookies. They smell good. These are easy to make. Everything I've done today, you can do by hand. You can use a hand mixer to whip the butter. You can mix all the ingredients by hand if you're younger and stouter. But you can mix quite a bit of it with a mixer, a hand mixer. Just like a hand mixer. You don't have to have a stand mixer to make cookies. So I don't want anybody thinking that. And try you some homemade cookies. And I'm getting ready to put the second batch in. I'll put them in just a little bit. So you all have a blessed day. Make some cookies today. Let me know what you think about these cookies. I want to see loads of comments, likes, and shares today. Likes and shares today. Love you guys. Bye. Okay, guys. Here's a close-up look of the cookies after I got them on the cooling rack. And I have 12 more ready to go in the oven. So this made 24 big cookies. And let me tell you all something, guys. I tasted this. I'm telling you what, just melt in your mouth. These are some delicious cookies. You have to try these. I'll get back to y'all later today. Bye-bye.